You're in London. You're in Dubai. Which one do you prefer, man?
Your favorite conversation?
Very. Probably one of the hardest. I think I'm going to have to think about it. I thought about it, Dubai.
That didn't take you long. Okay.
When you think about it, when you look around this place, I'd rather pay 9% tax knowing I'm somewhere like this than paying 40, 50% taxes when I'm trying to dodge potholes.
So welcome everybody to another episode of the J2 Hub podcast. We're back in the podcast studio. You've probably seen it looks a little bit different to our normal setup because it is. We're in a totally different studio today. But anyway, having said that, I'm joined by my trusted sidekick, B, on this side, who's always here now. You know, I can't seem to get rid of him. Like a bad smell. No, only joking. Just makes it more interesting when there's more of us here. And today, guys, we're joined by somebody who is also now kind of based in the UK, but based in Dubai. They've got some interesting things going on for investors. And, you know, our podcast is all about investors and how you can make more money and how you can diversify and grow things here in Dubai and in the UK. So we thought, let's bring on somebody interesting who can talk about what they're doing. We can also talk about the UK. We can also talk about Dubai and just have a general chit chat. So Ree, thank you so much for joining us here on the J2 Hub podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for being here. Great weather, great people. What more could you want?
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much. You're looking very smart today as well, which I see.
You know,
wearing casuals.
You know what? It's a chance to just upscale a little bit. I'm the tracksuit guy.
Yeah.
Tracksuit, t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
Few colours. You'll never know if it's new or I've also worn the same clothes every day. That's what. I'm very simple. But you know what? I thought I'm coming to Dubai. We came because we won an award, but just new energy. You know, you wake up, I'm not seeing greys.
Yeah,
apart from my hair.
Man.
There's no grey out the window.
Yeah.
There's sunlight. For you know what? Just have a chance to be fresh.
You know what? On that point, you know where he said he's normally the guy in the tracksuit bottoms and the shorts. Them multi-millionaires normally are like that, right?
True.
They don't normally have a suit. Like me and you have normally got a suit on. We're kind
Suit
of
and tie.
I think we're faking it till we make it, but this guy's already made it. So
He really made
man, yeah, I see it more. I follow Dan Martell, all of these guys online. Even what's his name, Bedros Koulias. All of these guys that are really successful. They just seem to have that same dress sense, right? I mean, Dan Martell, always in a blue t-shirt. You know, that's just his signature.
Yeah.
You see Bedros is most of the time got the hat on, got the black thing on.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. You look at Mark
always.
Zuckerberg. And then again, when you look at people like, the ex-founder of, rest his soul, Apple, he was always in the same gear.
Yeah.
There must be some madness behind it, right?
You're saying, I believe it was from decision-making process to simplify life. So when you wake up, don't have a decision-making issue of what to wear. Rather, here's the same stuff, pick it up, go. That's why I think Zuckerberg had the same, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the same clothes on a hanger.
Every day.
I think he must have
same color. He has like, I think 10, 15 different t-shirts, same color. He's just wearing that every day.
Yeah.
Simple.
Well, I think for myself, I've got probably 15 or 16 suits, maybe a bit more. And again, they sit in the same line and I have the same set of shirts and I'll pick out a shirt, pick out a suit.
Yeah.
Then the next day, pick out the next shirt, pick out the next suit. And it's just like a consecutive thing. So although they're different colors, there is some system behind it.
Yeah.
And even when I'm there relaxed and wanting to be more casual, there are them 3 go-to shirts, those 3 go-to shorts, 3 go-to t-shirts, which are all the same color.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe there is some kind of madness behind it.
There is.
But anyway, we could talk about clothes all day. Ree, tell us, man. What are you doing? What do you do? We had to get this guy on a podcast. The ironic thing here is we've gone. I'll let you explain, B.
Yeah.
But it took us so many time. We were waiting for you to come here. We couldn't even have a chance to meet all three us together.
Online.
And online. It's like I had the meeting with you separately. He had the meeting with you separately. So I think it's the best place to now understand what you're exactly doing here and explaining to us, our clients here.
Yeah.
You know my client's base, you know his client base.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for everyone to understand right now.
So you're under a bit of pressure. Not only are you educating us, you're educating the whole audience again.
Well, first of all, as per regulation, this isn't financial advice. But you know what? I'm from the UK. We've got a global company. But more importantly, being here in a hub is very important for us. We were initially going to set up somewhere else, but being here, straight away, the regulatory protocol, the licenses, the protection, the prestige more
Hold
so
on,
now.
where were you going to set up other than Dubai?
Well, we've got in London, we've got Cape Town, and the offshore setup is going to be the Isle of Man.
Okay, got you.
Which is great because of the tax reason. Funds can be structured over there, but funds can be structured here as well. Slightly more tax, but when you think about it, when you look around this place, I'd rather pay 9% tax knowing I'm somewhere like this than paying 40, 50% taxes when I'm trying to dodge potholes. Yeah, not cool. So yeah, more about the business. So I'm an ex-banker. I've been in investment banking since 2007. Probably a bit of a mistake from engineering because I thought I was going to go into F1.
Okay.
But after engineering, I was like, nah, I can't. I'm not going that way. And luckily, I got an opportunity for one of my friend's dad in banking. Was in the back office, so I ended up there. And then after,
were you that guy, the guy on the trading office, like running around with tickets and stuff?
I'm not that old. I think maybe in your generation.
Okay, no, but hold on. It would have still been quite relatively new then, right?
Yeah, that ticket system, it was there. In fact, the London Stock Exchange was the only one of the last places that was doing.
Because I had my school work experience there, so I remember. Yeah.
So everything became electronic now. Like if you want a deal, you get a price, you have Bloomberg, Reuters, all of these pricing modules, and you just see it. Bid, offer, buy, sell. Very, very simple. Traceability as well, electronic reporting systems, loads more regulations to follow. But I came in thinking that I was going to wear one of those jackets, those vests, running around in the pits. And I would have loved it because the people I worked with came from that world. So it was amazing. Sure. But the first job I had wasn't even there. I was like in the back office. In fact, I called it further back than the back office.
Right.
And then after a few weeks, I just said to my manager, look, I think I figured out what we need to do here. Process. How do I get into the front? He's like, oh, you don't want to do that. Like, you could be team leader. We can develop you. You could be a supervisor. And I'm thinking, my supervisor is now 30 and she came in when she was 18. Is that how long it's going to take me to become a supervisor?
So you never wanted to be in that safe zone. You wanted to grow.
Yeah. So immediately I thought, let's grow. And then luckily, again, sometimes doors open, sometimes you get slapped in the direction you need to go in. So another opportunity I got, and it was actually working in the Japanese place. And it was actually on the trading floor then, electronic. And that was the year Lehman's collapsed as well.
Ooh.
So talk about going from like the back of them back office to like deep in the front office, not knowing anything. I just started and Lehman's went down. I was like, shit, what's going on? Like people was talking to me a different language. It was financial language and I need this. But, it's one of those things. If you're in a higher pressured environment, you can sink or swim. For me, it's always about going in the deep end, going in the fast lane and figure it out, I think my background has demonstrated that because I was that kid in school that would sell videos. I would sell PlayStation games, things like that. Just try and make it. But I was a bad kid in school as well because I was on report. I was the kid that, every lesson the teacher had to sign off.
Yeah,
he's
me
been
too.
good today.
Me too, I know. Yeah.
But
I
think
yellow report card, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On a daily basis. And it's like, it seemed like it never ended. But now,
But the question is, did you ever get excluded from school?
Just before my GCSEs, yeah, because I saw her at the headmistress.
So I got excluded as well. You want to know what for?
Yeah, go on.
It was year 9 sports day, and me and my mate, I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Singh. That's as far as I'm going to go. We decided it'd be a good idea to drink some alcohol. So back then, I don't know if you remember K cider.
Oh yeah,
the black can.
Yeah,
it used to be 9% back then. They dropped it to 5% now. So I remember me and Singh, we thought, right, we need some rocket fuel before the 800 meters. So we sank one can. Because it's so easy to get alcohol then. Because, being Punjabi boys, when you were 12, you looked like you were 30. You came out with a beard. As a Punjabi man, when you're born, you come out of your mother with a beard. And if you haven't got one, there's alarm bells. Anyway, so me and Mr. Singh decided, Chal, we'll have a can of cider, K cider. We had that. He goes, oh man, there's no effect. Knocked another one. Ended up knocking 4 because there was 4 in a pack.
Yeah, you had to.
2 each.
You had no other choice.
And when it kicked in, it was our turn to run. I remember running the opposite way, and I remember him running across the track.
Oh,
so suddenly they knew something was up. And, Goody Two Shoes, who clocked us drinking at lunchtime, reported us, excluded for 10 days. So I hear you, man. But I think everybody who's been quite successful generally started life as a fuckabout. You know,
Yeah.
they took the piss. They didn't really know what they wanted to do. The school system really wasn't for them. So if you look at more success, and I think people like us, did you go to university?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So our parents made us go to university, whether you liked it or not, life or death.
To go.
So we had to go to university. But now you're seeing more and more successful people dropping out of university to kind of to pursue careers.
No.
But I'll let you pick up where you were. Sorry, I just went off on a bit of a tangent.
I want to add something. You see millionaires, 20 years old, 21 years old, buying properties without going to university.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the world is changing now.
Yeah, and nowadays when we ask clients for proof of funds, bro, we don't get bank statements. We get crypto ledgers. You're like, whoa! Like I got one the other day, and it was like $8.6 million. He goes, "Is that enough proof for you?" I go, "Yeah, you're good.
I can work with
We're
that.
good. We're good."
I can work with that.
But yeah, carry on where you were.
No, I think what you said is right. Some people were not meant to be in boxes. And I say to people now, when especially now I've got 2 kids, the teachers say, "Oh, this kid they don't have attention, they don't have focus." I'm like, okay, well, where's a fish in water? Take the fish out. What's it going to do? Some of us are just like that. We're not meant to be systemized, regimented. And if you think about where an adult life, is that normal for a kid to be in a school 8 hours a day at a desk sitting in one place? No. So what? And when somebody's starving in their job, you don't like it. How do you expect the kid to be? But then teachers now, especially in the UK, they got an attention problem. Then what happens? They prescribe something else. Then what?
Yeah, they're on Ritalin and all sorts.
Yeah, so it's like, for me, it's like schooling has changed. I think COVID opened up massively a new way of learning.
True.
And the problem I saw with that, because at that point in my life, I was doing a lot of online stuff. I'll be doing reels, I'll be doing webinars, like 3-day, 5-day challenges online, teaching education based. Now, if you're a teacher that's used to teaching school, you can interact with faces in a room. Then immediately you need to do it on Zoom. How do you do that? Now, I couldn't speak for shit. I couldn't public speak. Asked me 3 years ago, I would not even come on a podcast. I'll just freeze. But what I've learned from there is that people have to kind of 3-4x everything they do when you're behind a camera.
Yeah. You got to get out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many teachers were able to do that, to keep an attention of a kid that wasn't in the classroom? They could be watching TV while in front.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of training, there's a lot of things that the world has moved forward, but the institutions can't move quick enough.
Yeah.
Something that I realized here, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but the AI side of what this country is doing is miles ahead.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And the tech, the place is very techy, it's innovative. Some of my friends that have kids, like their kids are skipping out of school. They love it. It's a different environment. But then the weird thing is, a country that's going so quick, everything is still paper-based.
Yeah.
So here?
From what I've heard. Especially in banking and finance. That kind of stuff.
You know what? Just let me get this bit in because I need to get it off my chest. So, but look, my kids go to school here, yeah? Now, my kids are always quite excited to go to school, but they're also very excited to try and get out of school and skive if they can because, you know, they're my kids, so I don't expect them to be any different. But the level of learning here is so different, man. The way a lot of stuff's done on apps. They all have to go to school with a device.
Okay.
So they do a lot of learning on device, and we as parents can interactively see what's going on. And, you know, the other day I was quite shocked when I looked at my son's iPad, the youngest son. He's got 24 different tasks that he hasn't completed. And the older one's grasped on. He's like, Dad, look at him, man. He's there looking at Squid Game colouring pictures online when he should be doing all of these tasks. So it's easy to see where your kid is. But I think Dubai is one of those places, not only with teaching, but with real estate, with banking. We're miles ahead, man. I was talking about this the other day. Like, bro, this place is on fire. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Simple example. And I know you're itching to say something, so I want you to go in.
No. I'm just listening.
Mortgage. You take a mortgage, bro. You log into the bank. You can see the mortgage in the bank, highlighted there. Then you can see when you make a monthly payment, how much has gone to the mortgage, how much has gone to the interest.
Yeah.
In the UK, you got to wait 12 months to get a badge mortgage statement, bruv.
You don't even know when you're getting involved.
Exactly. Here, to the fucking dirham, you can see how much has gone here, how much has gone there. And I think to myself, okay, why don't we have this in the UK? Or then when you look at the apps these guys have got on how things are done in this country, like signing a contract for a property or getting a loan or paying a parking ticket. Back in the UK, you still got to fill in that stupid form or log onto the website. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we can't find it. Mismatch. Here you get a parking fine, you got a text message. Man, you got to pay that fine or you're in trouble. But B, I know you're itching to say something.
No, I was just like, you mentioned something about like property transfer. I'm going to use an example here with one of my clients. He was around 60. He had a property here. I got a client and he said, okay, when should I come to Dubai to sign the contract? I was like, you don't need to. It's an MOU online. It's like, what do you mean? I have to sign a paper. I said, no, I'll send you a link. It comes from the Dubai Land Department. You approve it. It's like, how come? He came. Anyway, he didn't trust. He came here. He sit with me in the office and I was like going through the app. He said, okay, print it. I have to sign. No way. Everything is online. Digital. It's Dubai Land Department system. We signed the contract. We went to the trustee office. We did the transfer. The buyer was looking for a title deed. Where's my title deed? There's nothing. It's a PDF file sent to you on your email.
Wow.
QR code. Check that. So, but if I lose it, there is an app, Dubai Rest, Dubai Land Department. So everything here is like through the application. It's online and they're trying to reduce the paperwork here. Yeah. Last week, Sheikh Mohammed announced 3 best government sectors for reducing like this duration of the paperwork. And at the same time, he announced the 3 worst organizations. No one in the world will do that. This is the difference. He announced 3 best and 3 worst.
Who's one of the worst?
Yeah.
I need to check. I forgot. I think one of them was for Sports Council in Dubai. Really? Yeah, I think so. I need to check. But last week it was on the news.
Interesting.
So they're really like doing a huge thing here. And another one, like the visa, when we're applying for our employees for a visa, when we submit the application, 45 seconds later, we receive an email. Is it verified or rejected? AI. Take the picture, verify everything. If it's based on their regulation, they verify it. Less than a minute.
That's mad, right?
Yeah.
Less than
How
a minute.
long would that historically have taken?
Yeah. Just like a title deed in the UK, bro. When you complete on a property now, they can say, oh, there's a backlog. Yeah. And then if you need that title deed to do a remortgage, because no lender's going to give you a mortgage without the title deed, you're fucked. Yeah. You're in a bad position. But I think this really nicely leads on to what you do, right? Yeah. AI. And, go into it and tell us what you are doing, man. Because otherwise, the thing about whenever we do a podcast, it's like 3 mates sitting in a pub. It just goes on. It could go on for hours. And we only have an hour. So
it leads us nicely onto transparency, because this is something that I'm very passionate about in the business. And it's something where not a lot of financial institutions are doing, regardless of regulations out there. For me, I'm an open book. That's my personality. I reflect the business. So if I'm an open book, our account's going to be an open book, so you can see what you're getting involved in. So we've actually got a hedge fund. So how I could simplify that, it's a big investment pool. All investors' capital go into this one fund. That fund then trades on various assets and there's a return based on it. So for example, if we've got $10 million managed account, you put in 100K, someone puts in 500K, they will get a return on their actual investment. But all it does is add into the fund size, and that fund is traded. So for us, we've used that to reduce risk massively, because if you gave me 100K, brand new account, and we had to trade it and give you the returns we're giving you, it would require a lot more work and a lot more risk. But we've de-risked that because we've got a larger fund. And how we've de-risked it even more is before we've even gone to the public, my capital went in there. Then we had a set of angel investors come in. Then we built the fund up to a profit where there's a big buffer on top of investors' capital. So any investors coming in now, they're on top of a big buffer. So when people ask us how safe is your investment, look, any investment carries a risk. Capital can go up, you can lose it, right? That wherever you put it, property, FX, bonds, wherever, that's the market. Yeah. And that can still happen. I'm not saying, we're untouchable, but we put in risk measurement to make sure that before we can even start losing investor capital, we need to start losing capital in the business. So that's why we've started off slow, but now literally it's rocketed. we're averaging some really good return rates. And me working on in the hedge fund space before, I've seen what the market has to offer. Now, typically, to become a hedge fund client, you need to be a serious investor. It's not accessible for most people. Now, these funds are set up in offshore regions because it's a tax management vehicle. And to get access to them, you need to put in at least $1 million. Some are 500K, but average is at least a 7-figure investment. Yeah. It's a locked up investment. So normally 3 to 5 years, you can't take your money out, but you get a return, maybe 15% to 18% per year. But after a few years, you get it, which is great. For your traditional investors, it's a great investment. But what I've seen through the various business I've done in property and in marketing, but mainly in banks, is that investors are looking for cash flow. Investors have different assets, some of them in real estate, some of them private equity, technology, their job, expenses, hedging their business as well, especially the property landlords that have loads of properties. And when some people don't pay, where does the money come from? You need to use your own pot. So the 4 things that our fund does is diversification. It gives you better investment. It allows you to risk hedge against any potential losses, and obviously a tax management vehicle because of the fund location. So what it does now, it's got 1-year contract. So very simple. It makes it a very relative short-term investment for a client. Yeah. The entry level, depending on the channel you're on board, you need to be a sophisticated high net worth or professional investor to get access to us. We don't work with retail clients. Even though we are licensed to, we've made a decision we don't want to. We just want to work with professional, serious investors because we can choose our clients now. Now, retail, you want to get volume. You don't know who's going to come in. Every last client comes to me before they get in the fund, and I don't accept everyone. I had somebody last month looking at results saying, I want more. I'm like, no, you're just being greedy. I don't like that attitude. Sorry. And you started getting rude about it. I said, well, I'm glad I listened to my instinct, because if you're like this now, how would you be managing you for the whole year? Your money's no good to us. Put it somewhere else. Yeah. You didn't like it, but if I was working for a company, I would have to take it in because I've got KPIs to meet.
And let me guess, he was probably a relatively small investor, right?
No, it was quite a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was over $250,000.
Okay.
So it was decent size, but again, a principle for me, I'm not interested in how much money you've got, because I'm interested in value exchange. Now, a typical client it's a weird one, because the last 3 clients have said exactly the same thing. They see a younger version of themselves in me, and I see an older version of them in me as well. So I'm like, it's a great exchange, because your fund is going somewhere where you get a way better return than most places. But then also that exchange of value is we get on. It's just like, we getting on, we're chatting, and that's good. That's the kind of clients I want. I'm not looking to I don't care if you're the richest person in the world. You're not going to dictate. I don't care. It's about having a seamless relationship. The benefits is you go and put your funds in a traditional asset management firm. You'd get a call from your RM maybe every 6 months. And most of the time it would be hey, we've got these new products. Why don't you put investment in here? We don't do that. We do monthly calls with our client on payment date as well. So the benefit you get with us, you get monthly payment if you want. Most clients are opting for quarterly payments, which is also great, because for those investors that are looking at Dubai, potentially working with you guys as well, the off-plan property structure is a perfect avenue, because you might have £250,000 to invest in Dubai. What can you invest? How quick can you do it? Even over the payment plan, 2 to 3 year period. With us now, if you park some with us, your quarterly cash flow will allow you to then go and pay off your different payment plans for your off-plan property. So rather than potentially putting your eggs in one basket and waiting 3 years for a return, you can accelerate that and multiply. So what our fund does, it's an accelerator for you. So if you're the person that likes property, investing in business, do X, Y, Z, our fund's going to help you do the same thing. So simple.
So let me get this straight. So let's say, for example, for everybody listening, let's say I'm buying an off-plan property. I've got payments due over the next 3 years. I've got a payment every 6 months. Now, I might already have this money set aside for this investment. It's sitting in a UK account. it's not earning me nothing. Maybe it's earning me a couple of percent, let's say for sake.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if I bought something for, say, 300 grand, 400 grand, I could deposit, say, 300 grand with you. And in 6 months, I could see what kind of return, like 15% a month? Or
No,
sorry, for the year, sorry.
No, for the year, we give between 24 to 36%.
Okay. And I could take that, say if I got a payment due in 6 months, I could say to you, on this date, on the 6th month, I want to take my money out, or I want to take a portion out. Say I got a 50 grand payment, give me 50 grand and give me what I've made on that 50 grand. Or I could say, just give me what I've made on that 50 grand.
Yeah, we will give you. So if you put in 300K, for example, the next quarter, you get your return on the 300K.
Okay.
So that goes to you.
Sure. Quarterly payment.
Quarterly, yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's like some investors will, for us, when we take on a client, we need to understand their goal. Like, all right, you got money, you want to put it in somewhere, cool. But what are you going to do with it? Because the side effect of working with us, you're going to get really good returns. That's going to potentially impact your tax. So we need to really understand the client.
And is it locked up for a period of time?
12 months.
12 months. Okay, got you. Okay.
Monthly or quarterly payment. So if you're trying to offset it versus your off-plan property payment plan, then it's great because we give it every quarter.
Right,
so
got you.
The main thing, our vehicle is set up not as one of these long-term investments that's going to sit there for years. You know, we're going to be here for years. We've been here for 2 years already. But it's more of a cash flow. So whatever you're doing, it allows you to accelerate that more.
Understood. Okay.
So if I'm buying more, I don't know, below market houses that need refurbs in the UK up north for like 30 grand each in Liverpool or something, then guess what? Every quarter you can potentially cash flow and go and buy a new property every 6 months if you wanted.
You know, the beauty of this with to buy a payment plan with off-plan projects, if, as you said, you have 50-50 payment plan, £300,000.
Yeah.
They put 150,000 during the construction they have to pay, and 150 on the handover. So they can put that 150 with RE. It will pay for the installment. At the time of handover, they will say, RE, I need my money.
Yeah.
So that 150 already paid for the other installments.
So I think it comes back to what Ree said. If you could structure it, if their company knows what their end goal is, if they understand what the end goal is, then you guys could structure it in a way that works for them. Yeah. Especially with a 50-50. Let's say take Town Square, for example. It's got a 45-55 payment plan. So a large chunk is due right at the end. So somebody could get quite clever with this and say, look, actually, you know what? Let me do what these guys are saying, because not only am I going to be making money, but I potentially have enough to make my payments every time they're due.
Yes.
Because they're not that heavy, the payments on the payment plan.
Without actually having to fund it themselves. Like, you know, however some clients are there, they could be selling other assets. It could be rental incomes that they're moving here to pay for it. Now, you're doing that from one kind of non-generating asset to something else.
Yeah.
So us is like, you got to call it, the digital world, and then we're moving it into a tangible asset. Because right now, you know, you're moving, whether it's cryptocurrency or you're moving, you know, your own funds from your business, it's going somewhere, right? It's either going to sit in an escrow account, sit somewhere to pay for something, or get it working. So for me, it's very, you've heard about how I just jump in sometimes in the deep end. Sometimes you've got to look at what is your goal, what's in front of you, and how you're going to get that to move a little bit quicker. And leverage what's around you. Some people will leverage, for example, Bitcoin. You might put it in, hope it's going to go up. Great. If it goes up, guess what? You might have paid your whole property. But the volatility versus that investor, how much do you know Bitcoin, for example? How much can you handle the movement before you think, shit, it's lost 10%, I'm pulling my money out, I'm scared. You never invest again. So for us, it's completely hands off. You give it to us. We have a very structured, very disciplined fund because we've not lost any investor capital since we've begun. And our most hardest, crucial year was last year because we had the elections, we had various wars going on, and God knows what's happening in the world. There's always turmoil. Something was happening. We had the assassination attempt twice on Trump.
You know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think investments are very, very emotional. And I've seen it. And as much as I like Bitcoin, I do like digital currency. You know, to whatever extent I understand it, which is very minimal. That's why I've always lost a lot of money on it. Because I'm not kept up to date. But it's very, very emotional because I've seen people in these WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, where their whole portfolio, they might be 2-3 million up, and then overnight, they've done it's been shorted or liquidated or whatever. And the emotional pressure these guys are under, it's like, oh fuck man, I'm going to kill myself. And you think to yourself, what? You're going to kill yourself over money that you made accidentally, So I think with older investors, like you're saying, you were giving that example of that 60-year-old guy. For these guys, they need to be able to wake up and think, okay, you know what? I've made a couple of grand, or it's gone down a little bit, it's gone up a little bit, it's gone down a little bit, but their heartbeat is staying constant, So I think investing is a very, very emotional thing, and for some people, they really can't handle it when shit goes down. So what you're saying is this is a real good way for somebody to get into something where, number one, their blood pressure remains constant. Number two, is relatively safe from what you're saying. And number three, they can link it with something that it's almost like their money is going to be having babies while it's tied up in a cage.
Literally,
right?
It's rabbits.
Yeah. It's just multiplying. Wow.
And what you mentioned here, like most of the people, like they're selling assets to buy another asset. Like, for example, with Town Square as an example again. For example, someone sold something for 300K, pound. And now they have that 300,000. They can buy one off plan, pay whatever 60,000-70,000 as a down payment, put remaining with RE. So that money generating money again. And the money itself, we pay for the installment. So by the time of handover, they have the money to pay for the remaining, so they don't need any mortgage. And already the payment plan and the installment was paid from the money they had. And this is another good thing with some countries like Iran, with the high inflation. I have so many clients, when I'm offering them payment plan, they're like, okay, it's attractive, it's amazing. But today, for example, 1 dirham is like 25,000 to a month. Tomorrow can be 50.
Oh, wow.
So for them, if they are selling an asset and they have 20 billion, 30 billion, I know it's a big number, but it's nothing when you compare.
Monopoly money.
25 billion is like 1 million dirham.
Okay.
If they have 25 billion, if they put it with you, like if they turn it to USDT or whatever, they put it with you, they can buy a property, pay the down payment. They don't have the stress of dealing with inflation, with the high inflation, because the money is safe there and the money is making money to pay for the property. You can structure it very, very well, I think.
You know what the other thing is, Ree? Clients forget that if they're moving, say 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand from the UK, from a conventional bank, that bank's having 6 or 7% out of it. From what I've seen, some of the clients have been really moaning. They've been saying, James, look, I transferred 100 grand from a payment, but it cost me like 3 grand, or it cost me like 2 grand when they do all the currency exchanges. So people should really be thinking about this beforehand and thinking, actually, if I've got it locked up in a scheme like this, not only am I saving every time I'm transferring the money, because let's face it, even when you use an FX currency trader, they're going to be making money on it.
You got to. It's not free.
It's not free. Although it's more attractive than the banks, somebody is always making money along at the same time. And I think what you're saying is people could get really savvy and get very, very clever with this kind of thing and really kind of almost like connect it. It's almost like invest it, but make sure you got a connection of what you're going to use it for, like almost like a purpose.
100%. And this is what has allowed the business to grow quite quickly, because the feedback so far is like, wow, I've heard from your team. Like the big investors, they deal directly with me, and some of the smaller investors would deal with a team. But the beauty for both those sets of investors are like, I've had 3 meetings with you over the first quarter. Not once have you asked me for any money, but I'm giving you more every month. I said, because that's how we work. We're not about
trust. That's trust, man.
I said, we're not about like trying to upsell you, because at the end of the day, our strategy is a gold correlated strategy, right? So we only do 5 currencies in our fund. We keep it very, very simple. Gold is 70% of what we do, and then the other currencies fall in line based on fundamentals. So our AI that we built is 96% accurate predictive analysis. It's got rid of 4 of our actually traders. Sorry if you're watching this, but
you sacked them.
Look, this is performing better.
The robot sacked them.
Yeah,
you are no longer wanted.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's not that AI trades. We would never allow that.
Yeah,
You know, I think
it just assists.
it gives us
Okay.
The
a ratio
predictions.
of what's going to work based on all the data, because it's trained for like over 75 years worth of data now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now every event that happens in the world that correlates to our product, it learns all the time. So our cost is more on engineers to keep making our system better rather than traders that have an amazing skill to trade, but will be slightly less profitable, not as good, but costs more.
You see, AI doesn't have an off day. A trader could have an off day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have a heavy night. He could have had 15 pints and 4 shots and,
Yeah.
and all sorts.
But the
Walk
thing
in
is
the
on
next day.
sentiment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sentiment. So when the second attempt on Trump, I believe, that day, like the whole market was red, but that was one of our best days.
Ah.
And it's
Or was it a lot to do with your AI?
some of it. Now, what we've noticed over the last 6 months, which we've been tweaking, and I'm so glad that we still have our head traders making the decision, is sentiment and psychology, because our main guys have been around since the 90s. They're old boys. They've seen the market.
It's not that old.
They've seen the market. No, not as in they've been born. They've been born in like the 60s.
Oh, okay. Oh, then they're
50s.
old boys.
Yeah. But they've been trading from like, the vest, the ticket. They've seen the market. They've seen .com bubble. They've seen subprime. They've seen credit crunch. They've seen various different wars, Gulf wars that's happened, right, since the 80s. So they understand sentiment, and that's different. There is a lot better AIs that probably can do sentiment analysis. But with this, I'll always have a manual trader to pull the trigger.
Okay.
Because as much as the data is good, if the data is great, but then sentiment is like, oh shit, someone like Trump has nearly been taken out again. And now there's been a lot of love for Trump over the last few years. So then if you're backdating data on 4 years where it's all about Trump's a twat, whatever you want to say, that data may be wrong. So then the trader made the right call.
Cool.
So it's interesting stuff, but it's so simple. Like when I had a meeting with a fund yesterday, I was speaking to the COO. He's like, how do you do this? How can you manage it? How can you keep your returns consistent? I said, look, we don't have 10 different branches. We don't have 100 people. We don't have different reporting structures. We do to not show the investor we're making money. I said, different to big institutions, they will do that. My team is lean. It's going to keep remaining lean. I don't plan to take over the world. What we're doing now, the results are great. The bigger our fund gets, we would have to do less than what we're doing now. So the growth rate of investment going up means we will trade less. Like we haven't traded since end of November.
Wow.
We only started trading again last week. Now, how many companies can say they can take 3 months off, still pay out investors, still grow? All we've done is grow the fund by another 5 mil.
Wow.
In the last quarter, we're like, you know what, we've hit our KPIs. We don't overtrade. Like our average amount of trades is between 10 and 30 trades a month. So we don't even do a lot. There's some algos which will do thousands of trades in a month. And then, they go for small pips. Like we'll do a trade and on the side of our fund, we might do $500,000 on one trade. That's it. Do we need to go and take more risk? We've hit our KPI. We know our balance sheet. We know what we need to pay investors. We know what the cost of the business is. Cool. Everyone chill out. Because everyone on the team is older. They got other responsibilities in life. So sitting in front of a desk and charts all day is counterproductive. And I've learned that because I've built this business while having another kid. So now I've got 2, a 3 and a 1-year-old. Trying to do that with, these two going crazy at home has been a hell of a lot of a challenge. So for us, is that efficiency of what we do is part of, I'd say, the company philosophy, because everyone in the company, apart from our CFO, is married and got kids.
Lucky guy.
So, yeah, it's just interesting in just being efficient. This is what the conversation with the COO yesterday. He's like, it's too simple. I said, I know, but simplicity wins. And I said, life's complicated enough. I said, your kids are like 25, 30, you're in a different path. For me, I need simplicity, man. I need to be able to go to bed and spend time with my kids. My trip in Dubai right now is the least I've ever seen them in my entire life, because I'm with them all the time. Like last Tuesday was the only day I've they've never seen me for the whole day because when they woke up, I was left. And when I came home, they were sleeping. And you know what? How many people can say that? And this is what me and my wife, we had a bit of a Barney the other day because it's the longest she's had to have them consistently. I'm like, you know what? We're blessed because we can argue about stuff that 90% of parents have to do on a day-to-day basis.
I love that. I love that, man. Yeah. You know what? I think what you just said there, simplicity, that's how it needs to be. And I think, we are coming to the hour, but we are so me and B are going to be doing a lot more road shows. Like we've teamed up with a few people in the UK. We're building that UK network. And I think it's quite self-explanatory what you've explained here. Yeah. But I think some people are visual learners. So I think next time we're doing an event where we've got investors in the room, I think this just fits side by side.
Yeah.
So they can see how it could benefit them. Yeah. There's going to be it's like with anything. Some people will look at it and think, you know what, this is really good. I really like this. Yeah. Some people will be like, you know what, I want to be even more simpler than simpler and do nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there are people who have got different risk tolerances. And I think from hearing what you've said, and I know it's taken us months to sit down and talk, it's actually really interesting stuff. And I think for us, I don't call ourselves brokers. I call ourselves investment guys, because we understand investment. Yeah. When you've been in real estate 23 years, you understand how to build an investment portfolio. It doesn't come by mistake. Yeah. And I think that's what separates us from everybody else. We're not brokers, we're investors, and we're looking after some very, very small family offices now as well. Yeah. So to be doing that, you got to be doing something right. Good. Yeah. And like yourself, man, what I really love is that how calm and how relaxed your thing seems to be.
Yeah.
It's almost as like, I'm picturing it in my head that we walk into your office and everybody's got their feet up on the table, they're smoking cigars, and it's just like, oh, it's 2.5 months since we trade. Yeah. Done, profit out.
Yeah.
Let's go back to sleeping again, which seems like it's really good because I think, like you said, man, people need stuff that's just simple. Ree, it was a great explanation. But
it was amazing.
Before we wrap it up, tell me, you're in London, you're in Dubai. Which one do you prefer, man?
Your favorite conversation?
Very, probably one of the hardest. I think I'm going to have to think about it. I thought about it, Dubai.
That didn't take you long, okay.
That was sick.
Look, it's about when people start looking at your social profiles, it's obviously you like your supercars. Yeah. You got a supercar at the moment?
No, I got rid of everything.
You got rid of everything, yeah. What, did you put it all into the business?
Literally, yeah.
Oh, man, good going. So you're a guy who likes his supercars, but, here in Dubai, it's there everywhere.
It's everywhere. I wouldn't even stand out.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, he's got the old SVJ from 2019,
Yeah,
but it's one of those things. It's been part of my life, cars. My daughter, we're in the marina now. She was like, that's a Hurricane.
Oh, she knows the name. Good on her. You've trained her.
Yeah. So, for me, I will get cars again. But when they're older, they can enjoy and we can do road trips together. Because I used to drive to Italy, things from that. So there's a lot of stuff we can do. The wife can have one, I can have one kid each. We can go enjoy it together. Because now, there's no need. It's good leverage for people to see, okay, I have been success. I'm not a fake guru or anything like that. Yeah, but ultimately, I'm a family man. That's my life.
Yeah. I mean, look, my son's been banging. I've always been a 911 man. So every time I was in the UK, I had a 911 all the time.
Yeah.
I maybe used it once a week. My 911s used to get sold every year with like 2,000-3,000 miles on them.
Yeah.
Because you buy it and then you think to yourself, no, what, fuck this, I haven't used this. And the Indian mentality kicks in where you think, it's gathering dust, it's costing me money, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
But then the itch comes again and then you buy another one. Yeah. So my son's been banging on at me, Dad. He goes, like, this GT3 RS that you've always wanted. He goes, I think it's about time you got one before your back gets too bad and you can't get into it.
That's a back killer, that one.
Yeah, I've heard. But that would be, I mean, look, the GT3, the normal GT3 was a bit of a back killer. I think a 911 generally, unless you've got comfortable seats in it, can be a back killer.
It will be all right though, because the roads are smooth.
Yeah.
No problems.
But he's always saying to me, like, Dad, you know what? I think it's about time you got a supercar. And I think, you know what? It does get you into different rooms. I think when you got, like you said, you go on these meets, you go on these tours, you go across Europe, you meet like-minded people, right?
Exactly. So it's a ticket, and you're an investor. You got to think a car is right up our street because we sit under the alternative asset management. So a car, whiskey, wines, all of those things sit under that. So if you're going to buy a supercar, put your investment out and say, okay, which Porsche can I get that I'm not going to lose money? Yeah. And it might. Like if you're like me, I bought a 911 C4S. When I sold it, it made money. I bought a 911 turbo manual.
That made money. Yeah.
I bought it for 45k. It's worth about 70k now.
Yeah.
So if you're like me, don't follow my car advice, because cars, I'm emotional. I wanted Porsches. I wanted one when I was 25. I got it when I was 20, or 1 month after my 25th birthday, so 26.
Oh,
so it's like,
me, man.
I'm just trying to, my own personal goals. But now with my investment, I'm looking for older cars. I'm not about having the shiny newest Lambo.
Hey,
if I can go and
old
get,
is gold.
Yeah, no, like I would love to go and have a Countach.
Yeah,
it drives like shit. I drove one in Italy, and I felt like I had done leg day because the clutch is 40 kilos.
Oh my god!
So it's a fucker of a car.
Yeah,
but that car, when I first went in Cannibal Run, that was when I was like, shit, I need this car.
Yeah, but dude, on the basis of cars, let's go back to the 80s when we were growing up, or the 90s. Let's look at some of those Cosworths.
Oh yeah.
Let's look at some of the Escort RSs, even the 205 GTI, the Uno turbos, the Nova SRIs. All of these cars, you're looking at them now. Even the what do you call it? The Focus RSs. I'm seeing these things go through auction, and I'm thinking to myself, bro, this is Porsche money. What the fuck is going on? It's like
bigger cars.
A lot of these, like you say, as an investor, you need to be looking into things. And I know your eyes were lighting up when he said whiskey cars, all of this stuff. Yeah. Why? And he's thinking, well, these are all the things I enjoy. But
because they're not traditional people. Like, that, all right, if you're all in real estate, it's not going to be up all the time. So you have to diversify your portfolio. This is why what we do is key, because it's a cash flowing portfolio. So when these stuff are down, at least you got cash flow.
Yeah.
And then what I have found is the type of person which we know that we don't even further conversation. If it's somebody that's only made money in property, then they're not our type of client, because they only know property. It's the only thing they do. Feel for them to consider this, it's a lot of education. And if I feel I need to educate and convince someone, for me, I would not want to work with them. Like, you need to be open, know this can fit your world. Then it's easy.
So off the basis of that, who is your ideal client avatar then? God, if you think traditional property guys like Mr. Singh, Mr. Patel, who's been in property since the 80s. No, Sonny, I don't understand this bullshit.
That's the thing. You got to think of the psychology. Yeah. If you've come to England, with your £1 in your pocket.
It used to be, they used to say, I came with 50p.
Yeah. But then, you were in England at the right time to buy. What could you do in England? You had to work. You had to do 3-4 jobs, make money, and put it somewhere. That's what you know. So that has grown and scaled. Now, someone tried to do that in England now. Good luck. You can't even pay the stamp duty on a property.
They're all accidental landlords.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Can I ask you 2 questions? I think will be a question for everyone who is watching. First of all, what was the average for the past 2 to 3 years you had the company running? Like, what's the average interest for the people who invested with you?
As in the company return?
The profit, So we gave to your clients.
We're averaging, I'd say, 25% a month.
A month?
A month, yeah. So this year we said, look, we're only going to we forecasted our target. And if we hit that target in August, great. Don't do nothing for the rest of the year. When we first started the business, you got to treat it as like an angel investor. You need investors quick. So we were giving a lot, like 10% a month for clients. So when you're looking at that, you're on 1-year contracts, you need to fulfill it, you need to perform. But at the same time, since we built this system, we knew we were always going to build it. We knew that once we've got it, we're going to stress test the hell out of it. It's done it, and it's been making consistent returns, up to months, down months. So it's really good. Like, the whole point of our fund is absolute return. So we don't care, honestly, about the political situation that's going to make gold go short. All we care is about the movement and our signal telling us gold will go short. Then we go trade it, make money off the movement, move on. If we made enough money for that month and we can pay all the clients for the next month, no problem.
So whoever is joining you right now and they want to put their money with you, how much they're looking here as a return?
So on a monthly basis,
how much they can expect?
On a monthly basis, you get 2%.
Okay.
On a quarterly basis, you get 3% per month paid quarterly. And there has been some new investors that are coming in saying, you know what, I don't want any payment till the end. Just give me an annual, so we can work on a compounded deal for them as well.
Okay.
But the USP of our product is to pay out. So, like I said, it just depends on people's goals.
And one more thing, what's the guarantee for your clients?
The guarantee? Well, any investment I can't guarantee. I can't tell you.
No. Like, I'm asking in terms of if they put their money with you. Like, this is not my question. This is, I think, whoever is watching, they will have this question. They're gonna give you £500,000 or £1 million. How they can trust? What's the guarantee behind it?
So the guarantee is you're looking at someone that's been in the game for over 20 years. Probably listening to the podcast, you can understand how I tick. I'm not going to be for everyone. This product's not going to be for everyone. However, your funds go for a regulated entity wherever you onboard it. London, South Africa, Dubai, they're all fully regulated or being in the process of being fully regulated. Then our brokerage is a globally fully regulated brokerage that's been around for a long time and it's based in Switzerland. So Swiss bank, Swiss brokerage account, you're not going to get more secure than that.
Perfect.
And the fact you've been a trader since you
I've been in the game,
I wanted to ask this question so everyone can see this and they can know what they're expecting and how they can feel safe with investing with you.
I mean, look, everything is, it takes time to get licenses, but we've done it. We've worked on exemptions. That's why we only work with professional high net worth individuals. But now, the more regulation we're getting, we know is going to give comfort to investors. And the reason we're doing more, especially here in the DIFC and we're looking at ADGM or here, is because we know that there's probably institutional companies that will use us. So that allows us, their ticket size could be 10 mil plus very easily. So when you have all of that global regulation, then getting funds of these guys becomes easier and becomes a benefit for their own balance sheet.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Ree, I think that's a great place to leave it. Firstly, thank you so much. I think you've explained it really, really well, man.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been a lot clearer for me as well.
A lot.
And, I blame this guy. He was supposed to tell me and brief me, and he did. No, I'm joking.
Come on. But we can never find him.
You know what? Some things are meant to be, and then, like I say,
but Reed, one other thing, just lastly, what I really appreciate as well is that, some things you said there that really stuck out is that, you're a family man, your kids are there. And I appreciate that because I'm the same boat, the kids come first. I get to see my boys every single day in the morning, in the evening. And, I purposely architected my life that way. If I need to be at kids assembly, I can do it. So I think anybody who's thinking like that should be a reassurance to somebody thinking, you know what, I want to invest in this fund. Just look at the caliber of the person. Do you see him pissing up the wall? Do you see him out drinking? Do you see him doing this? Look at his lifestyle. When he's a family man who's just all about focused on his family, it's that should be a reassurance in itself.
Yeah, 100%.
But we're at the top of the hour, man. B, thank you so much again for
thank you for having me. You
getting
cannot
out
get rid
of bed
of
and
me.
joining us. And Ree, it's been a pleasure. I will put all your contact details in the show notes when we release this episode, which will be in a few weeks' time because we are backlogged with episodes now. But all I can say is thanks very much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in every week and requesting exciting guests. This has obviously been one of those, and we'll see you on the next one.